Good evening, Flickin' Fanatics, and thank you for being so patient with us as we get our ish together on tonight's Week in Review. It is another episode of Friday Night Speakeasy here on the Flickin' Reel channel, where we have a plethora of things to discuss today. We have Moon Knight, episode 3, full spoilers, halfway through the season already. Can't believe it. We're going to talk about Fantastic Beasts and not Crimes of Grindelwald, it's The Secrets of Dumbledore, and Halo Episode 4. So reviews. Hopefully you have seen these things, as we are going to dive into them and discuss. And we will see you right after the jump. Oh, hello. That's the wrong one. Man, I can't see. My screen's not that big. I have a very small screen when I'm trying to click these overlays.
It on my side, it said failed to load video. Did anyone else see that? Was that weird?
I don't know. It seemed to go very quickly. I was like, that's a fast video.
I just had a full black screen. It just said your browser failed to load the video. That was the weirdest thing. Hey, we should swap.
Normally, we do this show at 9 o'clock, and we thought, today, why don't we do it at 10? 10:05, 10:10,
yeah,
10:15, 10:30.
Let's
and then we'll go early.
Up.
Welcome, one and all, to whatever show where we talk about whatever we feel like and hope you'll throw money at us while we do it. No schedule, no rules, no format, except for the format that I just gave you where we're going to talk about these three things. But if you can't donate, no pressure. We just ask that you do us a favor. If you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you always get notified of our uploads. If you are returning, please share this link or this video and let us know in the comments that you did and where to. Twitter's a great spot if I were to recommend one. And before we go any further, we just want to, again, bring up the fact that this episode is brought to you by Celsius. Celsius Energy, your best source of essential energy, metabolism boost, and body fat burning. Zero sugar, but all the flavor, with flavors like peach vibe, tropical vibe, and strawberry guava. Take your taste buds on a holiday. Sean, what are you drinking today?
Jesse, question. I am drinking Fuji Apple Pear. Now, question for you. How much is Celsius paying us?
Celsius is paying us, I believe we are now, there's a shipment of crisp high fives that were supposed to be sent directly to my address, but I believe they're on back order, so I'm still waiting for those. I am drinking a peach mango green tea. What you guys missed is if we would have started the show on time, you would have seen Jesse Swift, me. By the way, this is Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade. We run the show. This is, if you didn't already know. I was vastly out of breath when I came on the stream. I was panting because I was like, do I drive my car? No, that sounds like a lot of effort. Do I walk? It's going to take too long. So I got my cruiser skateboard and I just booked it to the gas station because that seemed like the most efficient way to do things. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys have been watching a bunch of stuff this week. There's been a lot coming out. Brandon Buckingham. So did Allison get booted for not supporting the channel? Allison got booted because she's on the wrong side of the states.
We don't talk about Allison. I need to record a video real quick and send it to you about what I am seeing currently on my screen because it's freaking me out.
What you're seeing on your screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. I hope I contribute to it.
Oh, you're contributing, and I'll send it to you, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about right now. So I'll shoot this in your chat and how terrifying you look right now.
Can we just talk about how William Harold is the funniest guy on the chat right now? Lego says, "Hello, Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade." Is that a capital I or a lowercase L? We'll never know. Wingblade. I appreciate the introductions. Never know when you have a new person watching. That's true. Allison is Bruno. Wow. It was funny. I just watched, speaking of Bruno, played by John Leguizamo, I just watched Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, where John Leguizamo played Tybalt, and the whole time watching it, I just kept thinking, "We don't talk about Tybalt." No. Black Loki saying, "I still need to watch Fantastic Beasts 3." Well, if we agreed upon it, I'm not sure, but we're doing spoiler free for Fantastic Beasts, right? Because it just came out yesterday.
Well, I think we can do spoilers once we get to that point. We'll save it for the end.
Okay,
and I think we were going to do spoiler free because Allison hadn't seen it, but she decided to ditch us for sleep because it's after midnight, where she is. So
I just thought spoiler free would be easier because I don't know if I want to get into that much detail about that movie because I get sad.
I only want to get into the details to complain about it, so let's keep it brief because let's not try to do that.
We will keep it brief. And
spoilers for our review later.
All right. So should we just eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Pick one?
No, not yet. Hold on.
Catch a chief by the toe?
I'm going to show everyone exactly what I'm seeing on my screen real quick.
Oh yeah, that's right. You sent that to me, so I got to see what's happening here.
Oh, I'm going to add it real quick. Everyone, you see, I was trying to screen record so we can chop it up later, and I have multiple monitors. And you're contributing, and I'll send it to you, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about right now. You can see Jesse just glitching. I'll shoot this in the group chat. Like what's that guy Max Headroom? Is that the thing? Video drone? No. You can see how much you're contributing, and I'll send it to you, and you will see exactly what I'm shifting all over the place. So
I'd buy that for $1. Just call me Ava from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm Ghost. I'm just glitching out. Are you Baba Yaga?
That works. Oh, it's even worse now. Ah, Jesus.
Perfect.
It's gonna give me a seizure.
Can't catch what you can't see. Anyways, my friends, how's everybody doing?
It's been a day.
Sean says pretty tired. I'm feeling pretty well. You know what? I'll be honest. Busting ass over to the gas station when it's cold outside woke me the hell up. So I whatever we got to do to get through this show.
You don't even need your Celsius, but
I don't. But since we don't want to lose our sponsorship. I'm just still. Pink.
Look, you have to drink it in a fancy way. Make sure pinky's up. Double. I'm not ready for the double pinky. I haven't been drinking it as long as you have.
Double pinks to chesty. All right. And just so you guys know, if you didn't already, down there below on our cool little overlay designed by one Sean Wingblade. I opened up Spotify instead of Streamlabs. That's a problem. You can donate to our Streamlabs, which helps a couple broke asses. I'm not going to speak for Sean, but I'll speak for myself. All right. And that brings us, obviously, all this entertaining content doesn't come for free.
Lego knows.
Silly.
Max head.
20 seconds in the future. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. It's a fully different language. 13 viewers. Hey, guys. What's going on? Please like the video. It helps with that YouTube algorithm and stuff.
And the long lost realm of Twitch, which I always forget about. Shout out to Jared. What's up, buddy? Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah.
Join us on Twitch too at Swift Wingblade over on Twitch. Easy enough to remember.
I couldn't tell if there was a child screaming outside or if my cat was mad at me.
There's the name.
Right. All right. Sean, what do you want to talk about first?
We could hop into... Well, we could end on a high note if you want to. If you want to wait. We haven't really talked much about it. Which of the three items we were going to talk about is your high note of the week? And we'll save it for last.
It's pretty consistently been Moon Knight.
Okay.
And what's ironic, because I think out of the 3 episodes, this might have been my least favorite episode of Moon Knight, but I still really liked it, like a lot.
Right.
And I watched it twice. I liked it more the second time. But like it was like I loved episode 1 and 2, and I really liked 3. So technically, that's a downgrade.
Gotcha.
But it's
let's hop into it first. Then.
You said last. You said
I know. I changed my mind.
All right.
We start off on a high note. People are going to get tired.
All right, guys. So if you have not seen Moon Knight episode 3, titled friendly something. Shit, what was it called? Please hold. We're not. This isn't the transition yet. It doesn't matter.
Please hold. We're gonna double check our facts. Obviously, we take extensive notes, but in our preparation for this wildly professional show, we take extensive notes and we come prepared.
Well, see, the funny thing is, I did take notes. I just forgot them.
Okay, one of us takes notes. It's not me. I did not take notes on anything I watched,
Okay,
but I'll usually watch it twice. Whatever it is,
I'll
watch it
for me to have to enter a pin to get into Disney Plus to look at the name of a title for a point. Moon Knight.
That's terrible.
First try. All right.
First try. There we go.
Here we go. All right. For those of you just joining us, we're about to crack into episode 3 of Moon Knight. Full spoilers. You've been warned. The title of the episode is The Friendly Type, which is something that I knew offhand and had to do zero amounts of research for, and there is no evidence to the contrary.
Very memorable title.
Sean, the first thing I remember about this episode is it ending and me going to our group chat and you saying, I'm not sure how I feel about this episode. Again, spoilers.
You did say that.
He did say that. We kicked off with Layla. We kick off with Layla, and is it clear what the relationship is between Layla and this woman that is creating a new passport for her? Because there's a lot of people assuming that it was her mom, and I was like, maybe, but it also seemed like not that close.
Right.
It seemed like maybe a close family friend or partner or something like that. You guys in the chat, if you know more than I do, feel free to correct me. I love being corrected. That's the only way to shut me up. Be like, Jesse, this is why you're wrong. And she discusses her concern for Mark and Steven, and we get to find out a little bit more about her father and the relationship they have. And her father was also definitely involved in the Egypt and the tomb raiding and things of that nature. There's a lot of things involving her dad that are brought up and mentioned in this episode, and there's a reveal that could prove to be troubling moving forward. But where do we catch Mark at the beginning of the episode?
Well, but before we jump into that, so you were saying possible spoilers for what could be troubling. What do you mean?
Well, it's kind of hinted at that Mark, if not directly, possibly indirectly, was involved in the death of her father.
Gotcha. Okay, so he was involved or possibly a cause of the death. Because I know,
he knows more than he's letting on, and it seems like guilt.
Okay. I didn't catch that from first viewing, at least. I can see where you'll get to that, or where you can kind of infer that is an issue that happened. But I'm not.
Well, it's like Arthur Harrow was telling him, he's like, I don't remember what the exact line was, but you haven't told her about her father.
Okay. Well, I thought he was. This is jumping way ahead, but I thought when Harrow was saying, "Oh, you haven't told her the truth," I took it to mean speaking because Khonshu wants her, not him, as his avatar type of thing, or that's why he's so stuck on doing Khonshu's bidding, and he can't let go of it, is because he's trying to protect her. It had nothing to do with the father. At least I didn't put those pieces together.
Really quickly, I want to take Mike K bringing up, are we going to see Jake Lockley in the series? I don't see why and it's unfortunate that we don't have Allison, because she knows so much more about the Jake Lockley character than these two idiots on screen right here. But I don't know. You didn't have to have a third personality if you really didn't want to. Right. But I feel like if you are going to, and they've shown something really violent just happened. Mark said, Steven, how could you? And Steven's like, oh, that wasn't me. We just have to assume it's Jake. So if I were to put money on it, I wouldn't put a lot because I don't have it, unless you guys want to visit Streamlabs, and I'll have more to put on this bet here. I would say yes. We got 3 more episodes where some people are like, oh, we're already halfway through. But I'm like, yeah, we're only halfway through. A lot can happen in 3 episodes. We've done so much groundwork right here that it's all kind of just should be events. Should be like a 3-part stuff hitting the fan.
Yeah. Ideally, yeah.
Sean, what do the cats mean?
The cats mean Cheryl's in the chat. That's what the cats mean. Because
Cheryl.
we're going to clip this out and we'll put this up later as its own section on YouTube. We are doing this live. This is Friday night, technically at about 10 p.m. West Coast time. And Cheryl just rated us over on Twitch. So
We're the
thank
Friday
you, Jen,
night
for
Nightins.
pointing that out because I didn't have my stream manager up running. But Cheryl, thank you for rating. I do appreciate it. We're just doing reviews, so hang out, stay a while. What was the question you asked me? I don't remember.
Did I ask you a question? What are we talking about?
You might have. I have no idea.
Okay, perfect.
I'm sure you asked me a question.
The chat's not gonna help because they're like, oh, I really like the ending of it. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. Let's talk about the ending. I was like, no, let's try to like cover some things. So
we're here to have fun. No, you asked me what do we hop into Mark doing, right? He's hunting down a few of Haro's men on the rooftops, right?
Well, technically, he runs into Haro's men. He was chasing somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Haro's men took him out. Yeah.
Well, I took it to mean he was hunting them down before they killed him, but it could have been the same way. And he's like, I want
you to know that every interpretation you have of this episode is wrong. I just want you to know that.
I'm not the expert. She's not here tonight, and we all miss out for that. And she could have broken this down better.
She's referring to the poster of Oscar Isaac wearing the hoodie. The guy in the sweatshirt is hot. Yeah, we agree. Thank you for your contributions.
I was lost. I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought that scene was good because it showed that, especially during the fight too, because you see it for a moment that he slaps a guy. Mark definitely didn't want to slap that guy. I think you can see in the moment that Steven was taking over, like in physical form while he was wide awake. It wasn't like because we get the blackout, and then boom, it cuts over.
He started Mark Spector and then gave him the Will Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how
I will try to limit my references to that event as much as I can. But yeah.
That's what I remember seeing. So that was interesting. And then was that the first time too we see towards the end of this sequence when he just does the blackout and then wakes up again, right?
I think so.
Because he was in the middle of fighting them, and then all of a sudden
he ends up in a cab.
Yeah.
And then he goes and tries to stop them, and then he gets knocked and falls on his head, and then he wakes up in the middle of stabbing one of them.
Yes, exactly. So, that's what it was. So we obviously have a third. I think by now everyone's on board with the assumption that we have a third person taking over that we have.
There's a little bit of a debate on when we saw this third personality, because some people are like, oh, it's when he was stabbing the other guy. I was like, because everyone assumes because Steven's not wanting to fight that it was Steven trying to get back on the plane. Jake might have different motives as well. Also, when Mark wakes up, they're in a cab, and cabs are heavily associated with Jake Lockley because Jake Lockley in the comics was a cabbie. So that feels like it's kind of a. This is again all stuff I learned from Allison. It seems like a wink and a nod.
You just equated just because he woke up in a cab and Jake was a cabbie.
I'm just saying it seems like a tip of the hat. It's a tip of the hat.
Okay.
They could have
it was an Easter egg. Okay, yeah, I got you.
That's what I'm saying. Like it feel like it was. I don't know. Anyways,
I got you, and I got what you're going. I was listening to our friends over at Pocketflix, and Brian Avalosino was pointing out something that they've already changed characters from like his persona, because Mark Spector was a not just a mercenary, he was also like the billionaire playboy. Or no, it was Steven. Steven was
the only person that is like comic accurate is Mark. Because I don't.
So it'd be interesting if this is Jake and not just a new personality that no one knows who it is. If he, instead of just being some random normal dude cabbie, if he was like a serial killer, because apparently he has a thirst for literally blood. Every time we cut back from what we're assuming was him in charge, he is covered in blood. He has just been wrecking people.
Which also brings up the point that this episode might not be the first time we've seen this personality.
I think we saw him in episode 1.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. because there's nothing that says that was Mark necessarily. Right. And then there's some people that said, well, maybe it's just Khonshu taking over the body. If Khonshu could just take over the whole body at any given point, why wouldn't he just do that and live through Mark's body? So that doesn't line up. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Shortly, and then we do get a moment that it's kind of morbid, but it is funny when he's trying to threaten the kid, and the kid just goes like, "Hail Ahmed," chops off his tie and falls to his death, and Khonshu's like, I thought he would talk.
Even the kids are motivated to stick with Haro. Black Loki. I did like it. Yes. I don't know if I said I did or didn't. I know Jesse was saying it's just your least
your exact
three,
words is this. It was a steaming heap. I believe is what you said at the beginning of the.
Let me. Yeah, that's. It was just. I just put a bunch of shit emojis. I don't know where you got those words from.
Okay.
But no, I think
between the emojis.
I think my issue was something you had said. Someone, I think it was you, who said like we've gotten little of the actual Moon Knight like coming out to play, essentially, like the costume, right? We've got very little of the fighting. Like it's always at the end of the episode type of thing.
It gets to the end. I want to bring this up for a second. Lego says we've seen Khonshu take over the body in the pyramid, which we'll cover in a little bit. Yes, but it's for like brief outbursts. Mm-hmm. If he could just like exist inside Mark and just do his own bidding, why would he ever give up control? Is my point. So I think it's a third personality.
Mm-hmm. Definitely could be.
Go ahead, Sean.
I don't know where it's going with that. So I just think that there's this. I think this was my least of the three, but my issue with this was some of the pacing and the directing of the episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember specifics other than. Okay, so when they get the pieces from the tomb, and now they're sitting on the front of the car in the desert randomly, and Layla's like, "Hey, we really need Steven on this one. Like, he can help us out. We can get this done." He just like freaks out. He's like, "All right, fine," and he goes and rips a mirror off. Like, why did you just take the mirror off the car? That just doesn't make any sense. So and then he grabs all these pieces. I get it. I get that.
Oh,
but then. He grabs the pieces and then he walks away from the light and he goes into the darkness of the desert and just kneels down. When he could have just stood there and did that all on the hood of the car. And it's not like he's hiding the fact that he is Steven from her. Like, she knows that. He could have just done that already. And so it was just weird the way they it was the direction of it, and it was just odd that the characters would act that way to me. And it was just, and there was multiple points in the episode where they did stuff like that. And I can't remember any more specifics, but I remember feeling like that multiple times. I'm like, wait, why would that character do that? And it just felt weird. So I don't know.
This doesn't discredit that at all. I think Mark has a little bit of an ego and doesn't put a lot of stock in what Steven does with the body. And I think part of this arc is them learning to value each other. Steven's like, I never want to give Mark control. But he tries to be Mr. Knight for approximately 5 seconds and gets stabbed. He's like, Mark, take the body back, take the body back.
Yeah.
So I think they both have to come to terms with their own values and, share now that they are very aware of each other. But your point still stands, and it is valid.
Right.
Going in order, shortly after the interaction with let's see, do we have the Ennead before he finds Layla, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So Khonshu does like an eclipse of the sun by using the moon because he is a dramatic queen. And that gets the attention of the Ennead, who call forth a meeting because Khonshu has
he's altered. Yeah, basically, people are seeing what he's doing. He's being a little too obvious to the general public.
Right. And so they call forth a meeting of the Ennead and their avatars, which, as much as I love the look and design of so much of this show, this definitely felt like the CW budget way of doing this scene, where it's just like, oh, we're just gonna have these 6 random people and give them glowing eyes and have them be the avatars. I was like, it's a little boring. You couldn't have because we see Khonshu, right? Wouldn't it be cool to see the other gods all designed and standing behind these people?
Standing behind, that would have been cool.
Right. Anyways.
Because this was another one of the issues with me, and it was this scene specifically.
I have issues with the scene as well. We're gonna link up on this.
Yeah, because this is classic movie where you could solve the entire movie in this one scene, or a TV show, right? So we're talking about a TV show, by just having the main character literally explain his issue, like he's done already so many other times to other characters, and like he's gonna do again in the future to other characters. If you would just give him a moment to speak and be like, oh no, they're like, oh no, Haro has done nothing wrong. Like, no, bullshit. He tried to kill me multiple times. He's probably out in the desert right now. He has the little compass and he's searching and just explain the issue. But no, there's this whole thing where, oh, I can't talk. And he can't, for whatever reason, he can't verbalize his thoughts and his feelings in the moment. And it's like, it was just the way it transpired didn't sit well. It was just weird. Again, I think it went back to the directing and the editing and how they chopped it together. It just didn't sit well with me.
I definitely have a script issue and a little bit of effects and set piece issue here. But aside from that, like you said, with the script, I was very frustrated with Khonshu, because Khonshu's the one that going in, he's like, our debate has to be indisputable. Right. I'm like, all right, well then come to the table or something. Khonshu, no matter who's been in control, has seen everything, right? He knows everything that Haro's doing. He's seen it all, heard it all. They used to, share a body. So he should know his heart and mind and everything. So that bothers me.
He says this much later.
Yeah. And I
remember everything.
When I watched it first, I was also frustrated with Mark. Like, Mark, come up with better points. But then it hit me. Mark hasn't been around for anything. Everything involving Arthur Harrow and learning what he's up to and stuff was all Steven. Steven's the one that knows what's going on. And what's interesting about that is Mark refusing to let Steven out. If he had trusted his other half in that scene and allowed Steven to talk to the Ennead, it might have gone down completely differently. And I feel like that is a message throughout this. Like I said, a lot of this I picked up on the second watch. I was like, I think the purpose of episode 3 was almost exclusively to show the importance of Stephen Grant by honestly having him in less. Because, Lauren and a lot of people I talked to are like, oh, I miss Stephen. And it's Layla asked to have Stephen come out. Mark realized he needs him for any Egypt lore, or doing the maps and the constellations and everything. And so I wonder if we're gonna have an episode that shows the importance of Jake. Is Jake their survival mode when they don't have Khonshu and they don't have the Moon Knight robe? Is the way that they get out of these scenarios by Jake just murdering people.
Psycho Jake who's drinking the blood of the innocent.
They could call the show Murder Night.
Or the not so innocent, I guess. Garth, you're probably correct. Because Mark is probably the one who did eventually actually steal the scare from whatever dig site they might have been on, or could have been Jake too, because obviously he's very capable. What we're assuming is Jake.
That is a good point.
So that I do agree with that.
So the meeting of the Ennead goes over like a wet fart, but we do meet one of the avatars of the god name start with an H. I'm sorry, I love mythology.
Hephaestus? No.
Somebody in the chat's going to make us look stupider than we are.
You know who it's going to be? Garth. Garth will put it in the chat first.
tell us the god that
I know there was an Osiris. Hathor. It was Lego. Thank you. Oh, Mike did it too.
Thank you, Mike. So I wasn't so much the goddess, but it was the avatar that said hey, you can find this person, and do this. Luckily for Mark, because she's like, "Oh, I would check the black market first." I'm like,
Right.
that's a stop. Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, just go down the street, visit the black market, and maybe you'll find." But luckily, he runs into Layla, who
Go down to 3rd, take a left. You'll find Hank. He'll take you to the Whopper lair.
listen. I try to be very forgiving of shows and movies and stuff, but sometimes there's such like a jump in logic. Like when he bumps into Layla, she's like, "Oh yeah, I know where that sarcophagus is. It was bought by somebody that I used to basically like work with," and I'm like, "That's real convenient." Mogart,
How
is that his name?
interesting. Mogart,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who is, and we should have his name pulled up. I don't have the actor's name, but this is the French actor who sadly passed away
Yeah.
after the series, after season 1 wrapped. I guess he was he in an accident, or did he just have like a heart attack, or I can't remember how. It was
Gaspard Ulliel.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Very handsome man. And I
Mhm.
believe he was lined up. That character is Midnight Man in the comics.
Yeah.
So I think
Mhm.
maybe they had a trajectory for him. He did get like disappear off screen very
Mhm.
suspiciously. He got
Yeah.
knifed in the back and then rode off into the smoke. I'm like, okay, well, there's no body. So we don't know how much he filmed before the end of the season.
Right.
But unfortunately,
I guess it was a ski accident.
Yes, it's a skiing accident.
R.I.P. to him.
Yeah. But we do get to meet him. I thought he played the role very well. And then they get to look at the sarcophagus. I'm just looking for the chat to give us the names of everybody. Sinfu, was that right? Sinfu,
Maybe. And yeah, Mike's correct. Yeah, Madripoor got dropped, and so I was immediately thinking back to Falcon Winter Soldier, and I'm like, I wonder if it's possible that they set it up where, like, I wonder if we went back and watched the Madripoor scenes, if maybe there was one of these characters in the background or something. Like I thought it would have been. I didn't go do it, so I have no idea if that's true or not. I know someone else on the internet might have done it, but I thought it could have been a fun Easter egg if like this actress who we didn't know at the time, no one knew who she was, if she was like in a background somewhere.
I bringing up this point because it's going on in the chat. Me and Mike K were talking on Facebook a little bit, comparing the Egyptian gods to the elder gods of Mortal Kombat, which anyone that knows the storylines of the games are so effing useless. They are worthless. And Raiden's always like, "Help, elder gods! I need you to help, like save Earth." And it's like, it's not really our business. So
Just gonna be like, nah.
nah, fam. We got
Right.
Egypt stuff to do. And they're like, we're not really interested in the human race, but our avatars are just there to observe. I'm like, observe what
Right.
then? What are you? I'm a little tired of all these like godlike characters just playing French. No, what is it? Playing Switzerland, right? That's
Well, yeah, they're in the middle. They're refusing to get involved either one way or the other. But what Vapion says is true. Like they are trying to portray Harrow as, and most cult leaders that's why they gain a following, is because they're supposed to be charismatic and smooth. And I think it goes to show that there's obviously a history with Harrow as Khonshu's avatar. So this may not be the first time that Harrow has been in the room with these all these same people.
And
could have been there could have been many meetings this way.
The scariest things about villains that are the heroes of their own story is often they're perfectly sane. Like Thanos was not insane. He knew every action he was taking. It's just terrifying to us. And I think Harrow is the same way.
Thanos saved the Earth.
Obviously.
I don't know if you realize.
Obviously.
After watching Eternals, he gave it 5 more years of life.
Yeah. Stop to Tiamat. Thanos was a celestial abortion before it was popular. So the sarcophagus of, I'm going to say Sinfu until somebody corrects me.
Okay.
And they start looking at the cloths and stuff, and Mark and Steven are having an argument with each other. Fight breaks out when Mogart realizes what's going on, and we get a really cool, fun, badass fight with Moon Knight fighting people, which is
spears.
Nice.
Pew,
yeah.
Pew, pew,
it's cool to watch Moon Knight do his thing against other people. Lego saying Sinfu sounds right. That's the first time the chat has backed me up, so I appreciate it.
Mike says Sifu, Lego says Sinfu. I say fight in an arena and let us know what the actual
tomato, Sifu, Sinfu. So seeing that was really cool. And then Steven, because Mark is getting too violent, Steven tries to take over and tell
seafood.
Yeah, exactly. Steven's like, all right, time out, everyone chill the F out. And then he gets stabbed. He's like, Mark, take the body back, which cracked me up. I'm so glad, even though it was like 5 seconds, I'm so glad to see Mr. Knight again. And I know that we're going to not get some Moon Knight stuff for a little while because of what happens at the end of the episode. But I need more Moon Knight. I love that Steven has his own suit up moment.
Do we think that what happens at the end, how they change the sky and whatnot? Do we think it's going to last more than an episode, or will that just be the driving force of the next hour that we see?
The sky or Khonshu?
Khonshu being now imprisoned.
Yeah, I think that. So we have 3 more episodes. We might have a Moon Knightless episode, and then hopefully get some resolution by episode 5.
Yeah,
at least.
There's only 6. I'm just trying to think back to previous series, because like if you think about a show like Game of Thrones, where the 9th of the 10 was always the big episode, and then the 10th episode was wrap up, right?
Right.
I don't think they've done that with these Marvel series. They've pretty much saved the big battle for at least the first half of the last episode.
Sure.
In all of the shows. So I think that we could see a full episode of them
trying to figure out. There was a really good John Walker fight in the episode before the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But there's still the huge battle scene in the final episode and stuff with the rest of the resistance there too.
Flag Smashers.
The Flag Smashers, yeah. Thank you. So I think you're right. I think we can see a full episode. Our next episode will be them trying to figure out, hey, how do we get back to this magical chamber inside the Pyramid of Giza? Right? That's what it was, the Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah, I think
so that we can find however he's encased and we can break him open. And that, I think that could lead into like episode 5, where all right, now we got to gear up for this and go stop Harrow from unleashing.
And I will say, episode to episode, I'm more invested in Moon Knight than I have been in a Marvel show in a bit. Definitely more than Falcon and Winter Soldier for me, and Hawkeye. Loki had high highs and then some like middles. I don't think Loki had like a super low, but sometimes I was like, after an episode, I was like, okay. This show has me right now. Even with this one being a slight step down, it still has me.
Okay, it's good to know.
So moving on from that fight, we basically get to see that the Moon Knight shroud and stuff pretty much indestructible, or it itself is not indestructible, but it makes Mark indestructible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
he gets shredded
with like 5 spears. And then he like snaps them all off and like kills everybody and obviously walks away pretty scot-free.
Yeah.
So there's a debate going online between like Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac. It's like Moon Knight versus Din Djarin. And I'm like, after that last episode, I'm going to say Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Unless you take like the Darksaber and cut his head off or something. But my money's on Moon Knight on face value. So then we're heading towards the highlight of the episode where, for me, once we get into the star stuff, Layla and Mark go out into the desert and they're trying to put this map piece together. And again, we talked about this a little earlier, so we'll fast forward. Eventually, Mark does let Steven out, and Steven, using like Scotch tape and stuff, which is very charming, very Stephen Grant, puts the star map together in the shape of a star, ironically. And then they're like, well, we can't really use this or scan it because the stars, this was made like 2,000 years ago, so the stars are not the same. We could end up like miles off.
So let's go see an astrologist.
I mean, well, Lauren's like, isn't there an app that can just like move it back, like. And I was like, then you don't get the cool line from Khonshu saying like, "I remember every night," because of course he does. The god of the moon, and I believe. Do I have to scroll up? What was her name? Oh, Hathor. Hathor, I believe, is like the goddess of the sky.
Okay.
And obviously they had some kind of interconnected love, romance, something like that. And so obviously he remembers the night sky. And so he takes Steven, which this is cool because they gave Khonshu and Steven a moment to bond because it's been really contentious for a while. They turn back the sky, which is such a cool effect. Something cool to see. Now, I think there's a misconception online. There's some people that are like, "Oh, the world traveled back 2,000 years. This means the Infinity Stones are back," and like all this other stuff. And I'm like, no,
they're thinking too hard about it.
They are, and
they didn't go. They were channeling their inner share, but they didn't go full share, where they did not actually turn back time.
Right, and I think unfortunately, it's like New Rockstars, which I go through for so many theories. They're like one of my favorite places to go for theories, and they're talking about like everything being changed in the MCU because of this. I was like, no, they were struggling to hold this in place so they could get a picture. So the second Khonshu's gone, it all just snaps right back into
snap right back into place.
Think of it like cold spring.
Yeah, the NEAD, they don't care about the human affairs, but also don't touch the sky world. Perfect. It's perfect.
Absolutely. If Black Logan says, if Gore the God Butcher kills the wacky Egyptian gods, I'll cheer for him in Thor: Love and Thunder. Well, here's the thing. Side tangent, little tiny bit. It's Christian Bale. We're going to cheer for him anyways. But Gore is such like a sympathetic character. Like he may be a bit of an apeshit murderer, but I think we're going to kind of root for him all the way up until he almost murders Thor, and then we're going to be like, oh, all right, pull back a little bit.
You'd be like, hey, look, I was on your team. You can hate the old gods because he's like 5,000 years old. Thor's only 1,500 years old. It's not Thor's fault, but it may be like the sins of my father type of thing, where it might be Odin's fault. I don't know.
Sins of my father. Are we talking Batman? All right, change the overlay.
There's so many themes. They just reuse them on every story. What is it? All music is comprised of 12 notes. All stories are comprised of the same general themes. Same thing.
So Khonshu's last words before being turned to stone and kind of withered away and imprisoned in the Pyramid of Giza is, have Mark save me, because he knew that giving them this map to Amit's tomb was going to result in him being imprisoned. And it's one of the first selfless acts, or semi-selfless acts, I should say, that we've seen Khonshu do. Yeah. And I appreciate that there's so many characters that we're getting to know. And it's funny, like Mark and Steven are like two different characters. You learn more about Steven and Mark, and there's a third personality. And Khonshu himself, which is one of the biggest surprises to me because it wasn't really in the trailers a bunch. Khonshu himself is a character with depth that we're learning about. And I hope we get to see a lot more of that soon. He gets imprisoned, and Steven or Mark is currently unconscious. And we cut to a scene that it was the only quote I put from the show. I put a quote from the scene as my reaction on Twitter after watching it, where Arthur Harrow, who I guess is back in the Pyramid of Giza. Do we know why?
Yeah, he got back in there somehow because he knows how to go. He knows how to get there.
Because he has the Ennead under his thumb, maybe.
Yeah.
But he goes in there to gloat and gloat to Khonshu just in case he can hear him. And he says the line that I really loved, where he said, "Your torment forged me. I owe my victory to you." And that's where we leave it. That's where the episode wraps up. So, I mean, it only took us 35 minutes to cover, but you know what? I like talking about Moon Knight. Damn it. So
that was a good line, and I think it goes to I don't know, it goes to show, I suppose, even though we're hearing about it, we're not seeing it type of thing. We don't know what he went through and what he was forced to do, probably against his will, right? Because obviously he was a willing participant at some point, and he turned into an unwilling participant in whatever Khonshu's plans were in his version of justice, because now he's obviously searching for Amit. I keep forgetting Amit.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
AMMET, I think.
Yeah, right. So he's obviously searching for a different way to carry out, hopefully, a similar result type of thing. And Contra fucked him up.
Yep. So let us know what you thought of the episode. Where does it rank in your 3 episodes so far? And that also brings up the point I have in the chat here, a poll for those of you that have seen Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. How do you rank the Fantastic Beasts film? I kind of want to go and see what that's at right now. Boop, 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 ba-doo. YouTube runs really good when I'm trying to run StreamYards and YouTube at the same time. All right. Well, first of all, I'll just say thank you for joining us on our spoiler review of Moon Knight, Friendly Type, or something along those lines. We both enjoyed it to varying degrees. Looking forward to episode 4. Join us next Friday night, or when we separate the video for our Moon Knight discussion for episode 4. And with that,
it all lives on the internet.
We'll be changing topics. Sean, what should we be talking about next?
We can hop into Halo, and that way we'll save Dumbledore for last. That way we can hop into a spoiler review of Dumbledore.
Sure. Interesting. Okay, so
first
currently,
here real quick. Seems like he was willing to do. Just to hop in the chat. Contra's bidding, but Contra was willing to go as far as Hera wanted. Okay. Yeah, basically.
That's true. He wants to punish him more, or he said that Contra's punishment came too late.
Yeah. So you're thinking that Khonshu dumped him because Hera wanted to take it too far. That's a possibility. That's definitely possible. Cheryl, thank you for the hearts. Appreciate it. Moon Knight is, yes, the Egyptian month. It's fun to get a different flavor and kind of get different cultures, right? Because I think a lot of the first, I think we all know that a lot of the first couple phases of Marvel was very America-centric and very like straightforward, like cookie cutter type of stuff. And so it's good that they're branching out, and that every show and movie is now having a different flavor of the entertainment sphere, whether horror shows like Doctor Strange hopefully might be heist this and love story, or buddy cop, whatever. So they're moving around. Is anyone planning to watch the latest? Yeah, we did. So we
will talk about that at the end of the episode.
I don't plan to go see it again in theaters, but I'll have to watch it when it comes back out. It comes out.
What's really unfortunate is both you and I, for various reasons, are supposed to intend on studying that film, and so I didn't want to watch it. Didn't want to plan on watching it again. So I was like, I'm going to pay a lot of attention. And so a creature would show up, or a character, and then 3 scenes later, I'd ask myself, what was the name of that creature? What was the name of that person? Nope. And I was like, wow. Watching this is kind of pointless, isn't it?
What if you love the show and you really hate the person who made the wizard? I think you're allowed to do that. You can love certain 80s pop star music and also hate the person or the things they did. And you could love movies and hate the people and the things that were involved. And it is what it is.
All right. Now, officially, we are going to begin our Halo episode 4 spoiler talk. So if you have seen the episode, please stick around. Or if you don't care about spoilers and you just want to hang out with a couple cool guys that you like to support, well, then hopefully you don't jump over to the other channel and support those cool guys and hang out with nerds.
That other channel. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, I have a good idea.
Let's talk about Halo. Let's talk about Halo. Let's do that thing.
Should we possibly know the name of this episode? was that something that we were angling to do? Is to be prepared and know the information about the name of the episode? Because maybe I should look that up.
You see, Sean, the name of the episode.
The name of the episode was Homecoming. This is why, Jesse. Obviously, it was Homecoming. Because Master Chief goes home. He goes back to the.
And I saw the preview I saw the preview for episode 5, and it is Halo the series Far From Home will be the next episode because he'll be leaving this planet and be
But once
So-
he leaves that planet, though, I think there's going to be no way home for him. He won't be able to go back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I think the finale is going to be called Master Chief Spider-Man 2. Dumb.
Perfect. I thought you were going to go multiverse with that. I thought you were going to like Doctor Strange too, but no, you just definitely jumped the shark on that.
So the only reason, for those of you wondering, the only reason I bring Sean on this show, because he's definitely not my co-host by any means. He's just a recurring guest that is welcome.
I have all the access codes
because he before we do our show, he is on another channel, Apocalypse, I believe, talking about the Halo episode. So it's fresh in his mind, and he has many viewpoints that he gets to bring to this discussion. And the value of that is that I can say less. So, Sean, what did you think about episode 4? How are you feeling about the trajectory of the show? Are you digging it, sucker?
Yeah, I'm still digging it. I'm curious though, because I think the way every episode seems to progress, that my initial assertion that people who aren't familiar with the show might actually be more on board, I think it's getting less and less as each episode goes on, just because you're unfamiliar, but you still know the franchise, right? So you're like, oh, cool, Halo. It's a shoot 'em up game, right?
Well,
it's about
enough to the
wars
point
and
where
stuff.
like they say a line of dialogue, and then the Halo theme kicks in. And I go,
yeah. I was like Leo. I was like, oh, that's I was pointing. He's like, she said the line. She said Halo.
Your hand and just
100%. That's what I was doing. No, but where's the shoot 'em ups? There are none.
Dude,
they've just avoided. We haven't seen it since episode 1. Like they just keep
we've had like one action scene and a scuffle.
Yeah, there was definitely a scuffle in this episode, but that was it. And then there was a cool like ninja assassin lady at the end killing people, but she was just murdering people, and then she hopped in and tried to kill them. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, because I was multitasking. I was trying to set up this stream and do other things. I had this open in a tab while I was doing some other stuff. So occasionally I would just like click on the other tab, be typing some stuff up, and I'm just listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I heard fight sounds. I was like, "Oh my god, something's actually happening!" And so I clicked over and watched like a few minutes of it. Now, I
need camera on you when that happens. And you're like, "Oh my god,
oh my god." So, wait, hang on. Wait, where's my I'll bring it up later. But
well, let's do this. Okay, so we have 3. Currently, we didn't see one of the storylines in this episode, which is Maki and whatever's happening with the Covenant, right? But in this episode specifically, we had 3 different storylines going on, basically.
Right.
So we got Master Chief going to his home world with Halsey. We had Soren and Quan going back to her home world, right, to rejoin the rebellion. That's loud. Oh, excuse me. That's long. And then that was perfect. I'm glad you brought that back 30 seconds ago. And then we had Kai and the other Spartans and Dr. Miranda and whatever they're doing. And obviously Kai she saw Master Chief take his little pill thing out, his emotional dampener. And she's like, I want to do that too. She cuts herself. Gets herself in the back. And then the other Spartan walks up behind her and doesn't ask a single question like, hey, what the fuck are you doing with that knife? And why are you all bloody? She doesn't say anything about it. She's like, hey, are you okay? All right, cool. We'll see you over there.
Yeah.
I thought that was true.
It looks like you tripped and fell on a knife in your back.
Right.
Weird how that happens.
Where a lot of blood come from.
So I've told you, I keep waiting to change my mind, but every time we do a review of the show, I keep saying like I just can't care about the Quan story. It hasn't changed. Every time they cut back to it, I'm like, I don't care. But they got us more involved in some of the what is it? They're called like the petty officers, the other Spartans.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's their ranking. Yeah.
And then you said it was Dr. Miranda, right?
Miranda Keys. Yeah.
I started getting kind of interested in what was going on there.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. I can follow this. I can get with this. What's happening with Chief John is kind of interesting a bit, but I wish it was kind of like another character, because like I'm really ready to see Master Chief kick some ass again.
Right.
And I don't want to be like, I have attention deficit. Like I need stimulation, but at a certain point, right? It is Halo. Even
if it's something like when they show up on that planet, that he just has to kill some people to then get to the house. Like it could be even something that small, right?
Yeah.
What's that meme or that GIF where it's like, do something and they're just poking like the dead body or whatever it was. Like that's what I feel like with the show.
Or it's I mean, forgive the insensitivity here, but on Family Guy, it's Peter Griffin pulling a little Asian kid out of his desk and setting him up and poking him with a stick. Do math. I'm poking John, going shoot stuff.
Too far. We've gone too far. No. So okay, I agree with you on the Quan storyline. This episode, I wasn't with you in the past until this episode, and they finally get back to Madrigal, and they're like, you realize so quickly how ridiculously underqualified she is, and she's way out of her depth, and she's just like, she's living in this fantasy land where she's like, oh, I want to take up my father's mantle and do him proud, and I'm just going to restart the rebellion. And she doesn't realize, like, she shows up and she's like, and she talks to the lady at the morning ceremony, and they're like, no, everyone's dead. Like, they're all fucking dead, and I'm not gonna die too. And then she gets all crazy, and they trigger the police to come get him, basically. And it's like, no, dude, you can't just like she obviously was not involved, because the first time we see her in the very first episode, she's off goofing off with her friends in the woods. Like, she's not part of whatever the rebellion was doing. And so you see that she doesn't realize the severity of the situation she's trying to get herself back in. Like, her heart's in the right place, she just doesn't know how to do it.
She was an underqualified individual that decided all of a sudden that they were going to try to be the inspirational spark in the rebellion. That's what you're saying? So
yes,
Luke Skywalker? It's Luke Skywalker?
Sure. It's like a shitty version of Luke Skywalker. A shittier version.
What's the name of John's buddy?
Luke himself wasn't like great right off the bat either. If you
what's the name of John's buddy that she's with?
Soren.
He's the character I care second least about, and so the fact that they've paired the two of them up, I'm like,
oh, I didn't mention this on the other review, but apparently he's a pirate, and this is the third episode he's been in. Apparently he's a pirate. He's galaxy renowned as the pirate Soren. This is the first anyone mentioned of it. Like, he never said, "Hey, I'm a pirate Soren." Yeah, I'm a pirate. Don't worry about this. We got cachet. We can go there. No, and everyone knew who he was. So it's not even like he's like an incognito. Like, people know exactly who he is as soon as he landed on the planet.
And you know how I was saying that, like, this direction the Spartan story is going, and I can kind of get behind. I'm kind of interested, and I do like their devotion to the chief, and I like them. They're exploring a little bit of what they went through, the whole Kingsman thing where they had to kill their own pets.
That's exactly what I was thinking at the time.
I actually, in this episode, that was the most interesting thing. Like, I'm slowly checking out of what's going on with John. I've been checked out with what's going on with Quan. So now there's finally an element where I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. The one thing I like about Chief is every time Cortana shows up, I think Cortana is pretty well realized. And so, like, I have a little geek moment where I'm like, Cortana, cool. So
she is acting exactly like what I remember her from the video game.
Yeah,
like down the mannerisms.
It was so funny when she showed up in that trailer.
Inflection in her voice.
Everyone was pissed. Like, oh, that's Cortana. I'm like, obviously that's Cortana. Like, I don't understand what the.
It's pretty clear.
And I messaged you this. This is like the only thing I messaged you about when I was watching the episode. When John takes his helmet off in the first episode, I did not make the deal about it that everyone else did. He has had that helmet on for probably 60 seconds of screen time since the first episode. And I'm like, I do something.
Yeah. I made this point with Gio on the other show. They land. They've come out of hyperspace. They land, and he's like, all right, we got time to get to work. They pan down to his helmet. He's like, all right, let's go. Helmet on. You're like, all right, we're about to go. He's gonna fight. And
steps out of the Jeep or whatever.
30 seconds later, he's like, all right, take the helmet off. And I thought
I can
of you
feel my spirit
when I was
leaving
watching
my body.
it. I was thinking of you exactly when that happened. And I'm like, oh no, this is not. People are not going to sit well. Like, fucking put your helmet back on, bro. Like, let's fight some people.
And if you're walking around and analyzing stuff, just leave it on. Like, it just
it's fine. We know what Pablo. You're a handsome guy. We know what you look like, bro. You know what? Do the Iron Man thing where they cut into the inside of his visor every once in a while, so we can see him emoting and stuff like that.
And I just imagine that, like, if Vader had his helmet off 90% of the time and it was just his ugly mug walking around, we're like, dude, put the helmet back on. There's some characters where, like, I really feel like they're, oh, well, you want to see the actor emote. I'm like, Din Djarin would beg to differ.
Yeah, dude.
And we all talk about how Mandalorian is, like, the badass. And, like, he can emote plenty without having to see his face. And when he does take his mask off, it's for a reason. We're like,
all right,
hey. And I would understand if it's like when it's him and Halsey and they're doing some kind of experiment to him or surgery or something, he has to have everything off. Okay, fine. But when he's out on the field, just suit up.
All right.
Anyways, that's how I felt about the episode.
One thing I do like about the Quan storyline is this is not what I like. She got her whole family killed because her aunt's dead now. But something her aunt said before she died, and that the fucking assassin came after them, was your father went out into the desert and he went on, like, he came back a different person, right? So I think that the next step in her storyline, which, because the longer this part of the story went on, the less interested I got in whatever's going to happen with the rebellion. I think the rebellion's dead now. But next for her, I think her and Soren are going to venture out and they're going to find whatever this is that affected her father. And so it's going to become a little more supernatural. And hopefully she'll actually get some wisdom out of whatever this next step in her journey is going to be. And so I'm interested to see kind of the very divergent path they're going to take. And hopefully they don't come back to the rebellion. That's just how I feel about it.
Currently, the two most interesting things for me are the Spartans and the Covenant. The Covenant, which we didn't get in the Covenant this episode.
Yeah, none, zero.
So we'll see the next episode. And if I hadn't already committed to this bit review, I may have dropped the series, not because it's bad, but just because, like, there's so many shows I've started, but they just didn't grab me. And so I kind of, like, wandered off. I feel like I am holding myself accountable to finishing this, at least this season out, and seeing how it goes. So we shall see. We shall see. Please, it doesn't look
Tune in next week when Sean does a solo review of Halo.
I'm out. I like how
I watched like the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Witcher, and I never went back. I still haven't finished it. I think there's 9 or 10, and I want to finish it. It just, like, actually at the time when I was watching, I had COVID, so I was like in bed, and then I had to get up and live a normal life again after I was over. So I need to go back and finally hop back into it.
It's funny you bring up Witcher, because, like, I also feel semi-similar to Witcher's, but I'm so passionate about Henry Cavill, it gets me through a lot. But both seasons of The Witcher, I was like, yeah, this is fine.
It's Henry Cavill on screen.
Pretty much. If Geralt isn't in the scene, I really don't care. Like, they keep spending so much. I mean, it's a whole other topic, but they spend so much time with Yennefer, and I'm like, I don't care. It's just,
Come back next time for our Halo series review presents The Witcher review.
Exactly. I wonder if our live viewership is representative of the popularity of the shows. Like we have like 20 live viewers for Moon Knight, and then it cuts half and plus some. All right, guys. Well, that was our review of episode 4 of Halo. Stay tuned for later this weekend or Monday or whenever it is, where we separate it out, and that gives you a chance to go watch it, catch up. If you haven't started the show, watch all 4 episodes, and then watch our reviews and watch all our content and stuff, and send us much money demands. All right. Well, with that, we can move on to our next and final topic for the night. Somehow we got this over an hour. I don't know how that happened. You know what? I do know how it happened. Celsius energy. All right. So we, Sean and I like how we changed topics and it already bumped up one viewer. Sean and I,
hold on.
Night.
Before we hop in, Vapion, please don't do this to us. We don't need to add more. But also, Halo and The Witcher are shows, so they wouldn't be in the Inner Geekdom category. I don't think. You know what? This would be terrifying. Maybe we should just send PJ angry messages. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But don't add, like they add for the FCL last year. They did small screen Star Wars because I actually agree with it, because there's so few Star Wars movies that they could, add in just a little bit to spice up the flavor. I hope they don't do small screen MCU.
The only reason I would
these shows.
The only reason I would allow that. What just happened to my hair? I barely touched my hair, and it looks like I haven't slept in a week. The only way I would allow that is if they did a MCU division, right?
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
You cannot add the shows to Inner Geekdom, but if you did a Marvel division, sure, right, because then it would be as narrow as Star Wars. Actually, a little less narrow because there's so many movies. But anyways, Schmodown. What's my Schmodown? We're here to talk about the third entry in the Fantastic Beasts film, once again directed by David Yates, co-written by J.K. Rowling, unlike the other 2, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, Steve Kloves came back for this one.
Yes, and that is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. I keep trying to call it The Crimes of Dumbledore, and Oh, okay. So this is a spoiler conversation. We are talking spoilers. If you haven't seen the film, come back after you have, please. I think we're also going to segment this video out as well.
Yeah.
So you can
chop this up. This will be our Dumbledore review. And yeah, we'll go full spoilers. So yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out. This is part of our live show. If you're watching this after the fact, Friday nights we do our Speakeasy show. But I think we can hop in at this point. So hopefully if you have seen Dumbledore, stick around. Hang out,
or if you just don't care, also stick around.
That's true, because I think there might be equal amount of people who, if you saw it, if you wanted to see it, you're planning on seeing it. If you don't care, then you're just not going to go to it.
So if you know how AMC A-List works, you can make 3 reservations a week, right? And I had my reservations for Sonic, and then I made actually the one I'm trying to think of the most recent movie. I can't remember if it was Sonic or Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Or the Nick Cage.
Oh, it was the Nick Cage. That's exactly right. It was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Mm-hmm. So I had that, and then Doctor Strange, and then a second Doctor Strange, because I wanted to get my Saturday showing locked in there, or Friday. I don't remember what it was. So I had my 3 reservations built up. So I couldn't get my tickets for this until 2 nights ago, until I saw The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Dolby screening, opening night, 6:00, perfect seats, dead center in the middle, because there was so much space in the theater. And I was like, wow, this is not Marvel. And the other irony is,
well, you didn't see me trying to check out Morbius tickets because that was wide open, which is Marvel, technically.
The running joke that we had is I canceled reservations to this movie 3 times because it was sitting on my reservation holding a spot, and then I'd be like, oh babe, we got to get Sonic tickets, and then we'd look at our full reservations. What should we take off? And we're like, well, let's take off Grindelwald or Dumbledore. And then we'd put on want to get another movie. We just had to keep pulling this off of reservations. Anyways, so that's besides the point. But the point I was originally trying to make, because we are talking spoilers, is I'll really quickly fast forward towards the end. When the Chillin, the little cute deer squid thing, bows to Dumbledore, to basically say, "Oh, you're pure of heart." I out loud verbally said bullshit in the theater.
I thought
I'm angry.
They set it up so many times throughout the movie that it was gonna bow to Jacob.
Jacob or Newt,
right?
Not Dumbledore,
then,
the ass clown,
right? Who dialogue in the film straight up says that he has reservations, and he and Grindelwald wanted to take over the world to get that's not a pure of heart person.
And he got angry and tried to use like a fatal spell on his
brother, and accidentally possibly killed his sister, and which we already I don't know if they ever touch. I can't remember any dialogue about that in the Harry Potter movies. I don't think they talk about it. That is in the books. I remember reading about it. That's a detailed chapter in the final books. But yeah, I don't know. There was so many scenes and characters doing stuff without any direction.
Can I say one thing?
That was a literal point of the movie, though, because he's like, oh, Grindelwald can kind of see the future, so we got to be crazy. It's like they all just did a big old circle. It's like they just literally just wasted an hour of screen time circling back around to where they started before they actually got on to the.
I do think. So if you guys haven't already voted, if you've seen the movie, vote in the poll here, which I will bring up. I was about to do that before. So currently we got about 10 votes, and I asked what the best Fantastic movie is so far. 67% say Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first entry, and then 33% say Secrets of Dumbledore. And I have heard a few people say that this is the best of the three. I disagree.
Lego's a defender of the second one.
I walked out. I finished the movie, but I was angry at the end of Crimes of Grindelwald because I was bored throughout the entire movie, confused during the middle third of the film, and every bit of payoff was just nothing. I don't know. I felt like a big nothing movie. I thought the first Fantastic Beast was sweet, charming, fun, and an interesting starting point for this new chapter in the Wizarding world. And I had such an epiphany, and I know you won't fully agree on me, but just follow me. Fantastic Beasts is Star Wars. Fantastic Beasts is Force Awakens. You know what I'm going to say next. Crimes of Grindelwald was Last Jedi for me, where I just felt like it shat on everything that the first one set up and was a complete waste of my time. And then Rise of Skywalker / Secrets of Dumbledore felt like a sloppy apology. Like they were trying to make up and be like, well, Queenie's good now. We're not really going to explain it or take the time to make it earned, but Queenie's back. And we're going to reinforce the relationship between Jude Law's Dumbledore and now Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald. And I don't know, man. I liked some of it. And Crimes of Grindelwald I liked none of. So I liked bits of this. I think it was the prettiest of the three. I think this is the prettiest Fantastic Beasts movie.
You've offended me because The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie, and Grindelwald was nowhere near the best Harry Potter movie. Lego, I'm gonna unfollow you on Twitter. Which I just followed her on Twitter today. I'm just kidding. No, I can see where you get that analogy, and yeah, I was just reading what Garth is saying. I think it's very different if you're not holding on to the nostalgia of the books. I started reading the books when I was in 7th grade and powered through. By the time
40 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
By the time I got through all the book series, they had already made the first 3 movies, and so I reread 4, 5, and 6 and 7 multiple times. 4 was my favorite book. 5 is my favorite movie. And yeah, I don't know. I think that I do agree with you that I think this one could have been was the prettiest, but there
Like
was
all
quite
the
a few
action was quite a
scenes.
bit of fun.
Sure, but I think there was quite a few scenes where it was literally just CGI, and which is a lot of movies nowadays. Like it's tough because there's so many like superhero movies and stuff like that where it's literally just throwing CGI at you. Like the whole scene in the dungeon with the crabs, and they were like,
I'm sorry, I was smiling that entire scene.
it was so goofy, but it was fun. Like I took my kids. My kids are 8 and 9. I
Yeah.
took them, and I thought it was gonna be a little scary for them, right? Because this creature in the dark and stuff. But they
Well, it
were
was
digging
spitting
it,
up like
and it was
vomited
like silly.
skeletons, and I was like,
Right.
again, I was very audible. I felt like the drunk guy in the theater, even though I wasn't. But like when the first like slimy skeleton hits the ground, I was just like, Jesus.
Curtis, yes. So when Bambi was getting
That's what I said too.
murdered,
Me
I
and Lauren
looked
both
over at
said
my
Bambi.
kids, and I was just waiting for like, and I wasn't sure. I didn't really ask them about it afterwards because that was so in the beginning of the movie, and I didn't jump back into it. But I was kind of just watching my kids to have a reaction, like to see kind of what they did. And I don't know. I should. Hey, kids! They're probably sleeping by now. But let's get your review of the movie. It was interesting the way they went with that too. That whole aspect of, and they I don't. We never saw this anywhere in the future too. But they were just straight up like live broadcasting this whole procedure at the end. This whole voting body, and immediately after Bambi bows to Grindelwald, it's like, all right, everyone just shoot up in the sky. Oh, hey, the vote's been cast. He won. It's like, what, dude? It's been 30 seconds. Like you're just declaring a winner. What is it just didn't make any sense to me.
Listen,
Thought there'd be more of a process. We count the votes.
at the end of the day, what this movie did was tip the scale for me a little bit because Crimes of Grindelwald made me go, I'm done. Like, I want nothing to do with this anymore. And this film was sloppy, plot holes, logic issues. However, I felt slightly more invested, slightly more entertained. I didn't hate it, that strong feeling of like overwhelming hate and resentment, which is how I came out of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Lita Lestrange character was wasted. And oh man, why did I feel like the screenwriter wanted us to forget about Lita just like her brother? They're like, oh, did you remember Zoe Kravitz? And we'll never talk about it. And then Lauren and I just kept waiting. For those of you who don't know, Lauren is my wife. We just kept waiting for that to come back. We're like, oh, that's a big deal. Yes. They removed the memory of his sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he just doesn't talk the rest of the movie. And I'm like,
nope. Does he have a line? I don't think he has a line. At the end when he does the pull and the explosion. Well, yeah, I don't think he has a line.
You think he's going to say something witty because they're what took you so long? And he goes, and I'm like, line? No, he's mute now. He's mute all of a sudden.
Okay. One, because I just rewatched Grindelwald in the lead up to this. His entire crux of his character was that he was trying to kill Corvus Lestrange. That's it. That's the only reason he even showed up in the movie, was that he has a promise he made.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
He made a promise to his father to kill, to basically punish Lestrange. And so he was going to kill his only son. Turns out he's dead. Okay. So what does he have to, just go away, dude. Like Yusuf, that was your whole purpose. Why is he even in this movie? Why is he part of this group of wizards that has to defeat Grindelwald? He didn't care about Grindelwald. Like he wasn't even part of that whole thing. But you know who was? Tina. Catherine Watterson's character.
Oh, I don't think that's a character.
Yeah, apparently not. Not in this movie. Apparently because she went from being a detracted Auror, former Auror, to, she got her job back at the Auror's office. All right, cool. Congrats, you're an Auror again. in this movie, they just throw the line, "Oh, she's now the head of the American Auror's office." Hold up. A year ago, you weren't even an Auror anymore. And then all of a sudden, you're back in, and now you're in charge. Like, whoa, you just got promoted real quick. I thought that was kind of interesting.
How much back surgery are Dan Fogler and Eddie Redmayne going to need after carrying this entire franchise on their back?
You mean Dan Fogler? Because, okay, listen, Jude Law was amazing. I love all of the actors other than who plays Yusuf, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Are they playing their parts perfectly? I think they're doing.
Ezra Miller is existing in the movie.
He's playing his tortured, like, weirdo kind of self. But I think they're all doing a good job at what they're given, right? They're not doing bad acting jobs, in my opinion.
We were supposed to care about the Aberforth and Credent thing, right? Because
we're supposed to.
That's. I think
that goes to editing and the way the scenes put out.
At the core of this trilogy, it just feels like, the Harry Potter franchise made us care about, like, everyone and everything that was going on, and instead of making you care, like, naturally, this franchise has expected you to care, and I'm like, you don't get that. That has to be earned.
Yes,
we're not just going to hand you our investment. Dan Fogler was amazing.
Dan Fogler is hands down my favorite part. And when he giggles, when he drinks the giggle water, it just it kills me every time. I will giggle right along with it. Shout out, like Dan Fogler.
I love them giving him like a little chanted wand.
Well, okay, but that was another thing. Is like, what was the purpose of this thing? Because it didn't do anything, right? There was the scene. There was the scene where we see him doing the storm. No, that was the American witch. Who I was just going to look up her name because I forgot what her name was.
What in the name of Night at the Museum Amelia Earhart voice was she doing?
I don't know. Her name is Jessica Williams, and she played Lally, who was an American. She went one of the teachers at Ilver Warning. But
I want to touch on Mads Mickelson because
she just charms.
I love Mads Mickelson. I really do. I even like him as Caecilius. What bums me out is there's two Marvel characters I would love for him to play, and the fact that he was wasted in Doctor Strange 2 really bums me out. He'd be a fantastic Victor Von Doom. He'd also be He'd also be a fantastic Eric Lenshirt. So wasted. That being said, I was really liking him, but I think it was a bias because I just really like him. And Lauren brought up, she's like, I needed more from him. I feel like he was just reading lines. And I'm like, I was like, yeah, can I watch Mads Mikkelsen read the dictionary? I can. So maybe I wasn't the best judgment for how his portrayal of Grindelwald really was. I just think I didn't care for Johnny Depp's like super over the top.
Right.
Honestly, out of the three movies, I think Colin Farrell's the best Grindelwald. So that's kind of ironic. Maybe if he can shapeshift, just have him shapeshift back into Colin Farrell in the next movie.
Dude, I want Colin Farrell back. I wanted him back in the second movie. I thought, that was right when all the Depp stuff was like hitting the fan too. But it was like 4 years ago now. But
yeah, we've had Gemma Chan in to play two Marvel characters. So just give it a few more years. After 10 years, everyone will forget he was in Doctor Strange.
100%. And I thought they should have brought Farrell back for this one. He could have just been like, "Oh, I like this look better" or something. They could have. It absolutely could have been just a plot device in the movie.
It would have been less jarring for them to go back to Farrell than it would have been Mads.
To Mads and get rid of his bleach blonde hair and
his eye.
Yeah. His eye was kind of, but it reminded me of him from Casino Royale because I don't know if Mads has a thing about his eyes. I'm not sure if that's a real thing or what, but have you seen Polar yet?
Yes.
Yes. It's on Netflix. Watch it. It's Mads Mikkelsen and he's killing the game. I love it's a really good movie. It's brutal. It's basically John Wick for Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay.
Vapion, I don't know what this is reference to. I know Slughorn had a pet, but are you talking about his fish, his pet goldfish, Lily. I don't know what you're talking about. Cheryl, yes, there were great female characters in this movie. Not the ones we were familiar with, who were in the previous two movies. But I really liked, other than her wavering Americanized accent, I really liked Jessica Williams as Lally. I thought she was really fun.
As
And she was
ridiculous
very-
as it was, she was charming.
Yes, and she was very capable, and she was a badass, and I enjoyed that. I thought she
Well,
was
that's
really cool.
honestly been a highlight of the Fantastic Beasts movies for me. Is I'm into adult wizardry. That's one of the reasons I was super into the first movie. I was like, I like everyone running around, not sitting in classes, but they're just like all established, capable wizards, and we get to see duels and the fight between I almost said Geralt, damn it, Grindelwald and Dumbledore had a little bit like fight choreography in it. Like they were locking arms and stuff.
Yes.
And also with Credence earlier in the movie. And there's like a visceral nature to it. And I was like, I visually love this. Right. And then within seconds, you get me to stop caring again. I just wish that more, better, please.
Garth, I'm with you, buddy. I'm right there with you. Yeah, Jessica Williams, she's Daily Show. So I used to watch the Daily Show. She looked familiar. I couldn't place her, and I haven't looked down her filmography, so I didn't know where she was from. But that makes sense. She used to be, comedian on that aspect. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for pointing that up. He absolutely could be Doom still, totally. Getting acquitted, yes. So that whole story beat, like what?
What between Moon Knight and Grindelwald? What is it with people just like? Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, you've murdered people. They set the entire Lestrange like vault on fire in the second movie, and they blew up. I guess the people. Caleb Turner, who was Theseus Scamander, is the head of the Auror's office.
The ship of Theseus Scamander.
That's exactly what I said. He's the head of the Auror's office for the British Wizarding World. If you're not going to believe the head of your magical law enforcement that, hey, this guy's a bad dude, what? Like, who? What other evidence and people do you need to hear their story? Last movie done in the backstory of the characters. Well, correct. I agree. Yeah, all the characters, but also yes, the female characters.
I rewatched Crimes of Grindelwald like maybe about 12 months ago. I don't remember any better than when I first saw it in theaters. I retained no new information.
Yeah. What was the name of the pet that Lily gave Slughorn? I'm pretty sure the pet's name was just Lily, wasn't it? Am I wrong about that? It turns into a lily when she passed away. It floated to the top.
It's funny seeing adult wizards because it shows Harry is really a terribly untalented wizard in comparison. Harry gets lucky.
Well, yeah, but he was a kid. But he points that out in Order of the Phoenix. He goes, I got lucky most of the time. I nearly always had help. So he literally says that in the fifth movie.
That is one of the only reasons because everyone for nostalgia's sake wants to see the cast come back. And everyone's like, oh, just do Cursed Child. Everything I've heard about Cursed Child, that's a bad idea.
I haven't heard.
Make a new story and bring them back. I'm here for bringing them back. I'm not here for doing Cursed Child. Anyways, so
I don't know anything about the Cursed Child story beats, so I don't. I'd be excited to see a new story.
I know that the book exists in my living space somewhere, but I don't know anything about it.
Next week on Flick and Reel, Jess is going to do a live reading. Cursed Child. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna experience it together.
Only British accents.
Yes, 100%. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be like Oscar Isaac level British accents.
That's audacious. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Audacious.
I don't know.
I give you too much credit.
Yeah. So yeah, there's other things that happened in this movie, but I mean, really, that kind of sums up the thoughts of it's It's a mess. A lot of it. So I think a lot of the decisions didn't make sense, but it's different than Crimes of Grindelwald, where the story straight up didn't make sense, right? Like I was able to follow this, and I'm like, okay, that's stupid, but okay. And then the second one, I was like, whose baby died? What? Who are you? Why?
Because you literally didn't remember them.
Well, I remember in the theater when I was watching, I was just like, why? What? Who? What? And this one, I was like, okay, I could tell you what happened in this movie. It's not great, but I could tell you about it.
So they leave off the end of Grindelwald with the
conveniently Ezra Miller's dying. So that's convenient.
Yeah. Well, they leave it off with, oh, hey. Well, they kind of set that up in the first one where they say no Obscurus has ever lived past the age of 10, right? So he's obviously like 25, 30 years old, however old the character himself is supposed to be. And then they drop the bomb at the end of the second movie. Yes. 3 years, perfect. Thanks, big man. So they leave off the end of Grindelwald with, "Oh, you are actually Aurelius Dumbledore." Dun dun dun. And then the movie's over, and you're like, "All right, cool." Like how? How is he related though? Right? Is he his son? Is he his brother? Whatever. And Mads drops that in this movie. Is like, "Oh, you're his brother. Your brother left you out."
So what's wrong with the Dumbledore bloodline where they have two Obscuriuses? I can't say it, in one family?
I think that's something we'll never find out, if I'm going to be honest.
Makes sense. It's like so rare we've never heard of it or seen it in anywhere outside of the Dumbledore family. Mm-hmm. So maybe you should stop breeding, guys.
Right. I really thought they were going to retcon Ariana because in the first movie, Newt says, "Oh, I met an Obscurus, and I was able to remove it before she passed away." Yeah. And I thought they were going to retcon and be like, "Oh, that was Ariana the whole time," because I knew she died because of the spell, because from reading the books. But they've never said that in the movies, so they could have like tried to divert that.
In between movies, my headcanon was that Grindelwald was lying to Credence.
Okay.
And I kind of thought that was going to be a reveal in this. And it even started leaning that way where it seemed like he was manipulating Credence and like maybe he told him that for whatever reason, but then they had the Phoenix involved and everything. And
well, he was lying because that's where I was going with that, was that he said, "Oh, your brother left you, left you to die," basically. He wasn't his brother. He was his brother's son. So he was Albus's nephew that they didn't know about. No one knew about him, apparently. Or was it clear did Aberforth know about him?
Because Albus said maybe if I'd been a better friend, you would have been more open to me. So I think what the insinuation was that Aberforth knew about him but didn't communicate it to Albus.
Gotcha. That makes sense, yes.
Well, keep talking. I'm trying to write a joke.
Well, yes, this Fantastic Beasts series, thank you, Cheryl, that has gone away from all Fantastic Beasts.
Well, I will say there's more putting this movie against Crimes of Grindelwald. This movie focused more on Beast than Crimes of Grindelwald did.
I'll agree with that.
Nagini. It started with Fantastic Beasts, or in the beginning, they had the big scorpion scene thing, and then the Chillin' was like the MacGuffin of the whole movie.
Hey, also, where's Nagini?
Who?
And why was she in the second movie if they weren't going to explain at all in this movie where she goes to eventually one day end up with Voldemort down the road?
Why is McGonagall?
I can understand McGonagall being at the school with Dumbledore. That makes sense. They're both old as fuck.
20 years before she was born?
Is that true?
Yeah, that's canonically true.
Okay.
Every time she shows up on screen, Lauren has a spasm of anger.
What? I don't remember I don't remember ever knowing her birth date, so maybe that's just me.
You can look it up in Pottermore or whatever. She has an exact birthday and year, and the Fantastic Beasts movies retconned it. So,
her birthday is October 4th.
Of? Anyways.
When was 1935? So that's perfect. So this is 8 years before she was born.
Yeah.
Because Grindelwald takes place in 1927.
So,
or was that? Hold on. Or was that Maggie Smith's birthday? Hold on. Let me double check what I was sure. It might have been just Maggie Smith's birthday. I don't know.
We are here to entertain and provide you with the most astounding, accurate facts, and also to push Celsius energy drinks.
Celsius, because it'll keep you up late and get you talking.
It's okay. Here's my question.
So that's Minerva McGonagall's Wikipedia page. So I'm you know what? I'm not going to go any further than Google's homepage.
It's good enough. Good enough. Yeah. Lego says, yeah, the McGonagall math does not numbers. Exactly. My question for the chat is, if Celsius was a spell, what would it do? What is the Celsius spell? You just burn? Would it be like the 16th incinerating charm that exists out in the... That's why I can't study Harry Potter spells, because there's like incendio, there's this, that, and the other thing, and they all just set things on fire. There should just be one fire spell.
Here's the only thing I'll say about... Well, hey, listen. If you are a defender
of the Dark
George
Arts?
Lucas and him changing the Star Wars universe at a whim, as he was wont to do before he sold it to Disney, I suppose we have to, just out of principle, be okay with J.K. Rowling, who wrote the fucking movies, changing McGonagall's heritage. And
no, we have to respect J.K. Rowling.
That's true. No, I would just wonder, where was the initial assertion that, hey, she was born in 1935? Like, who wrote that initial piece of information, or was that ever verified by JK? That's all I would say. Because otherwise it's just people making up their own fanboy theories and then people running with it as fact.
Well, I'll look that up for a different day. But anyways, sure. Yeah, guys, that's some of our thoughts on this third installment of a franchise that go ahead.
Speaking of Dumbledore being a horrible person, check out Allison Salamoni's Behavior Geekology.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Behavior Geekology, where her very first episode was, why is Dumbledore such a piece of shit? Because he is a terrible person. And that is available on all these platforms that you see here in front of you at the Flick and Reel page.
Yeah, the only reason we have followers on our audio platforms. I'm just kidding. I think.
And her first episode was specifically on Dumbledore and why he's a piece of crap.
Yeah, and then there's also stuff on Lord of the Rings and good stuff, and more content in the works. Now, watch me click the right one. I still didn't do it.
Nope. You clicked the JSA one.
Wait. There it is. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our review of Fantastic Beasts. I'm just gonna say Crimes of Dumbledore, because he's not a good person, and the chillin' was full of shit.
That's true. That's very true. That's exactly what happened.
We will segment this out, and if you missed our full show, that is typically Fridays at 9 p.m. This time it was at 10:30 because reasons. But
stand by. Hold on. We're bringing it back. Come here.
Uh-oh. Come here. The show's not over, folks.
Come here. This show's only just begun. Come here. Come. Tell the people, what did you think of the movie? What did you think of the Crimes of Dumbledore? No, The Secret of Dumbledore.
It was good.
There you go.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Why
did we spend 30 minutes talking when we could have just got the summary from a child?
Nailed it. Clip it.
Right. Well, that rounds it out. Clip it. Yep. That should be our outro now. Forget the me singing. It was good.
Clip it.
All right, guys. So always join us on our... Hey, now you have the wrong one up, I think, right? I don't know.
Why? It's our names.
Well, who's this person, though? Is that Tina?
That's our Moon Knight expert. I thought I'd give her a platform. Well, she's also here though too.
Okay. Let me check something real quick here.
There we go.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for donating to Streamlabs. I'm being facetious if you didn't know.
This is the part of the silly show that we're never gonna clip out. I still haven't finished this. Okay, so let's talk about
this like
Celsius.
40 minutes ago.
Let's talk about Celsius. I haven't drank coffee since Monday because I was drinking way too much coffee and spending fucking $7 every time I went to go to Dutch Bros. I love Dutch Bros. It's delicious. But I have had the worst gas this entire week. And I don't know if it's my body adjusting from like just cold turkey, no coffee to just whatever is in this energy drink. And the difference between this and drinking coffee.
Part of it is Celsius is actually a metabolism booster. So it is processing stuff through your body quicker. So you are going to tend to do a little bit more of the doo-doo and passing gas.
Apparently. Yeah. But just like not even just like walking around like farting like uncontrollably. Just my stomach just making noises all day long. And I'm just standing there like in front of a customer and I'm just like, it's not even me like letting it out. I'm just, my stomach is doing backflips and I'm like, oh God, I need another one.
So for anyone that is still here, you are so welcome.
Welcome to Celsius Talk.
Welcome to Celsius Talk. That's our fourth topic.
I was going to ask Allison the same thing too, just to get real depth.
All right, guys. So every week, Fridays.
You post this. This is.
You're never gonna let me finish this video.
Nope. I didn't know we were trying to sign out.
Help! I'm being held hostage against my will. I'm just trying to let the people know what's going on. Okay. What's going on is every week, Friday at 9 p.m. typically, the two of us, if not Allison and possibly some guests, will be on to discuss Moon Knight, Halo, and possibly whatever movie came out that week. I did not do a review for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So in short, it was silly good time. A silly good time. It could have been more silly though. I might
try to go see that Monday.
It's worth it. This coming week, Thursday night, I will be seeing Robert Eggers' The Northman. So very excited for that.
Jesse will be doing a solo review of that.
Probably. If you guys want to see it, let me know.
I haven't seen any of his other movies. I didn't see The Lighthouse, and what was the other one?
The Witch.
The Witch. I definitely didn't see The Witch.
I haven't seen The Witch. Not my forte. I did watch The Lighthouse twice. I fucking love that movie. It's something.
All I know about that movie is beans or something like that.
You know what? The Lighthouse would be a great watch along movie. I think get a couple people together, like we do at the room, 50-50. Some that have seen it, some that haven't. It's nuts, but fascinating to discuss. It is fascinating to discuss. So I'll be looking forward to talking about The Northman.
Right after Velocipaster. Yes, that's a movie we need to watch. But Jesse, let's change the temperature and talk about Celsius. I just saw that she posted that in chat.
Well, speaking of Celsius, this episode is brought to you by Celsius Energy, your best source of essential energy, metabolism boost, and body fat burning. Zero sugar, but all the flavor with flavors like peach vibe, tropical vibe, and strawberry guava. Take your taste buds on a holiday. Keep vibing. I'm going to stop saying keep it real. Just say keep vibing at the end of every episode. That's not true. I'm already done saying that. I'm ready to cut it. Is the chat ready to cut it?
No.
Okay.
I'm scrolling through looking at comments. So what I was reading for a moment is, there's dissertation between was she born in 1935 or was it more like 1889?
Yeah, also,
that's quite a jump.
Didn't use the Sorcerer's Stone. Albus Dumbledore did to extend his age.
Right.
So he's feckin' old.
Well, I don't think was it 35, 45, 46 years. That's the difference between 46 years, right? This movie takes place in 1927. She could easily have been born in the early 1900s, like 1900 to 1910, and still be, 17. If she was born like 1900, like flat, she could be 27. She could be a teacher at the school, right? She could have graduated. She could have come back as a teacher. So I don't think she's quite as old as what I was reading real quickly on the internet. But she's definitely not as old as Dumbledore. We can tell Dumbledore's had some age, and exactly what you said. Yeah, he used the stone at some point. I don't know what that was in reference to, Cheryl. Can we move past it?
Well, speaking of Fantastic Beasts, we should do a watch song for Trimmers.
Yes. That's the worst parent. I have only experience with what was the animated movie where they actually brought in Damian Wayne?
There's been 3 or 4.
The one where he was introduced.
The one he was introduced as Son of Batman.
Okay, I think I watched that one. I got mostly through it. And
then Damian Wayne is also in the Harley Quinn animated show voiced by Jacob Tremblay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's fun.
I have not watched that show.
Oh my gosh, Harley Quinn is so funny.
There's so much to watch, dude.
Lego Tremors 2 Aftershocks is an underrated movie. It is. I love Tremors 3 because it has ass blasters in it. And I will not give context to that sentence. I'm just gonna. Hey guys, so if you didn't,
I'm trying to convince Jeff and Jesse to do Velocipaster.
Me one more time. No, I was just letting everyone know if you go to TeePublic, there is a link in the description. You can buy really cool merchandise like this.
You can also clip out Jesse going like this.
Yeah, whoever wants to supply a GIF, send it to me via Twitter, and I will use it.
They fly
now. They fly. Oh, yes. That is both Rise of Skywalker reference, which is accurate to our previous conversation because Rise of Skywalker is Secrets of Dumbledore, but also a reference to the ass blasters, which did, in fact, fly now. Sean, can I go home?
You're already home. Funny Celsius story.
If this is more, well, you know what's funny? I did say in the description for here that we will sometimes possibly update you on our BMs. So that is what Sean is now doing here. Celsius.
That was not the story I was going to tell. I did comment slightly, but I was trying to be nice about it a few minutes ago. No, okay. So, like I said, I've been drinking these daily. So instead of going to get coffee in the morning, and our bosses were nice the other day. They took my whole team out to do like a breakfast on Thursday morning. Yes, I guess that was yesterday. So I had one of these, get out of my van, go inside. It was just this little diner, little breakfast diner. And I'm sitting there and a couple other guys filter in. So I'm now sitting there with my immediate supervisor, his manager, who is our manager for our whole area, and then our like area vice president for the entirety of the area. And we're all kind of just shooting shit. And when you're at work with a bunch of your work teammates, kind of like conversation dies down. Everyone's like, so, like, no one wants to talk about their personal life. And I was like playing with the can because I had just finished drinking. And I was like, hey, has anyone had Celsius? And I basically started pitching them Celsius. There's 8 of us around the table. I'm like, have you guys had Celsius? This section is like really good.
I literally merchandise this every day. Yeah. Like, I'm a merchandiser and this is one of our products. So, like, that's literally what I'm doing all the time. People are like, oh, what you doing? Celsius.
And the area like vice president of my area goes, okay, so I saw that sitting on the table and I'm really glad that it's not like a wine spritzer that you brought to work at 7 a.m.
It is sparkling though.
It is because it looks exactly, I don't have a can in here, but it looks just like a Bud Light like cola can. Like it's the exact same like shape, color, everything other than the label itself. And he's like, yeah, I really thought that was like a White Claw or like a True. Like, he goes, I'm glad that's an energy drink. Thank you for pointing that out. So I just thought that was one story to tell. Make sure you don't drink in front of your bosses when you drive a company vehicle. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, but you can drink and drive your company vehicle when they're not looking.
Only when they're not looking. Please also don't do that
first. All right, guys. Well, what the flick? This video's been almost 2 hours long.
This went entirely longer. We were like, hey, you want to do like an hour? We'll do like a quick 20 minutes on each subject.
Yeah, based off of our previous things, we're like, if we break it up, Moon Knight, at the most will be 30 minutes. Halo's usually about 10 to 12 minutes. And Fantastic Beasts will summarize in like 15 minutes. Why are we at an hour 50?
You decided to do a beat by beat breakdown of Moon Knight. You're like, all right, first we hit this scene, and then we hit this scene, and then we okay, let's roll with it. We'll do that.
I just blame the chat. Always blame the chat.
It's all the chat's fault.
Thanks for joining us, guys. This was a multiverse of madness we have going on here, which that's coming up soon. Get your tickets if you haven't already.
Hop in for the after party after the stream ends.
Not going all night. I can already feel my voice cracking. By the way, also, I should be plugging this. 10 hours from now, we'll be doing news and views, I think.
Hey.
I haven't heard from our co-host. Probably doing that. I should probably pull some topics together so we can talk about them. But no, viewers, don't go up because we're leaving here. Yeah, so I'll see you guys hopefully in about 10 hours. Appreciate everything that you guys do. Sean, no more stories.
If I was just wondering if anyone's watching on Facebook. I don't know why we broadcast to Facebook.
I canceled.
I've never seen a comment.
It says it's streaming, but I canceled it like 3 different ways this Sunday, so it shouldn't be streaming there anymore.
Well, all right. I blame you.
Yeah. Oh, one more time, can you please show the audience, in case there's some new viewers, that horror show that you saw in the video clips? Is it still in there?
What? Oh, the video
Yeah.
I showed you. Yeah, sure, why not? No, it's on my computer. So I'll
Perfect. I'm just gonna use this.
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flick and Reel Show.